not behind the 61.
Of all the numbers that matter in business, here's the one that matters most: 7.7 billion. Because that's how many people there are on this planet. So every day, we work with banks, merchants, businesses, cities, and governments to solve human needs with human ideas. We're helping retailers reimagine how people shop, developing new digital-first payment experiences, making transactions of all kinds safer and more secure, giving people and businesses more control over their financial data, modernizing commercial payments for businesses of all sizes all around the world, all in a pursuit of our vision of an economy where everyone can reach their potential. At MasterCard, we are here to help our partners help people. Because we believe when you start with people, you can start something priceless.
Good afternoon and welcome. We thank you for joining us for the Caribbean launch of RevUP Caribbean. We are thrilled to have you with us here from the NCB Atrium in Kingston, Jamaica. I take this opportunity to formally welcome the Minister of Finance and the Public Sector, Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clark, who we will be hearing from in a short while. RevUP Caribbean is a part of the World Business Angel Network, and thus we have the pleasure of being joined by many of our global partners. These partners serve as mentors to our cohort, and we're so glad to have you with us today. We, of course, also welcome members of the RevUP Board and Advisory Committee. It is exciting to serve with a committee of professionals globally who serve small to medium businesses, and we're talking about building out small to medium business networks across the world. And of course, today we are focused on the Caribbean region. We take the opportunity to welcome members of the media from Barbados, Trinidad, St. Lucia, the Eastern Caribbean, and of course, our close friends here in Jamaica. I am your host, Danielle Terrelong. I am also a board member of RevUP Caribbean, but most of all, I'm just a struggling entrepreneur trying to make it work. We are so thankful to have you here, and it is my pleasure to serve you in this capacity. So, as we said before, today is the official launch of RevUP Caribbean. We have been operating here in Jamaica with over 30 participants in the past 6 or 7 months here, and it is an amazing program. And just to let you know, RevUP Caribbean is a spin-off of First Angels Jamaica, Jamaica's first and only operational angel investor group founded in 2014. RevUP's sole focus and what we spend our days doing is looking at how we can support startups and scale-ups gain the best in business, the most skills that they need. So the thing is, what we've learned is that most startups and scale-ups think they need a lot of money, and that's actually true. But what we had to do when we came out of First Angels Jamaica is realize that we had to skill up our entrepreneurs, our founders as we call them, because what we know is that in Jamaica and across the Caribbean, we have so many ideas, so many creatives in all aspects, whether that be in fintech, whether that be in production of beauty products, you name the industry, we have so much creativity across our region, and we recognize we need to skill up all of our entrepreneurs so that they are creating sustainable businesses. I invite everyone who may have a question, whatever platform you are using, to please submit questions as comes up or as is possible for you. We will be answering those questions at the end of our panel. I hope today's event is informative to you, and most of all to our small businesses who are online with us, we encourage you to sign up right now at RevUpCaribbean.com. Maybe not right now. Listen to what we have to say first. So the first thing I'm going to do is invite our distinguished speaker, Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clarke, Minister of Finance and the Public Sector, joining us here in Jamaica to speak to us a little bit about the role of business incubators and building strong Caribbean and Jamaican ecosystems. What we're really talking about is facilitating MSME growth. Dr. Clarke, I gather you are with us and I can see you online. Great to have you with us as always. Dr. Clarke, I hand over to you. How are we, growing our economies through MSME growth?
Thank you, Daniel, for having me, chairman of today's proceedings. If I may, to Sandra Glasgow, who heads First Angels Network and RevUp Caribbean, to your chair, Joe Matalon, the members of the platform party, and those joining online, good afternoon. It is a distinct pleasure, I must tell you, to attend functions such as these. When Sandra called me or texted me in today's world a few weeks ago, my day is full. I have prearranged activities, but I just had to make the time because it is just fantastic as a policymaker to see what policy can do in a country where you have motivated and talented and resourced individuals. At the end of the day, the government is focused on creating a platform that can encourage MSMEs, startups, early stage companies to grow and to flourish. We have been engaged in reforms that are centered around deepening the role of the private sector. But deepening the role of the private sector must encompass all of the private sector, and that is everyone who is not in the public sector. And more than that, in order for us to enjoy the kind of economic growth that we want, we've got to encourage innovation in the companies that are birthed in Jamaica and in the Caribbean. And I'm very proud of the fact that I launched, I went, in discussions with the IDB at dinner with Therese back in 2018, the end of 2018, and with her team, led to the launch of the Biggie program, boosting innovation and growth and entrepreneurship ecosystems. We focus on innovation because that is key to improving the value add in Jamaica. Growth because we want to focus on companies that have the opportunity to go from being small today to medium tomorrow. And it's important that, unlike times in the past, we focus on an ecosystem, not on one particular kind of company or one class of entities, but or one entity within that class, but on its several classes at the same time. And hence the Biggie program looks at empowering individual startups through innovation grants and other grants, the Go Digital grants that we have that enable companies to build digital front ends. But we're also looking at venture capital funds and institutions, and the government of Jamaica will be investing over $6 billion across 3 venture capital/private equity funds, which is intended to crowd in approximately $10 billion of investment overall at a minimum. And at least one of these funds will be focused on early stage companies and opportunities. But in addition to companies and to venture capital funds, the Biggie program is focused on incubators and accelerators as institutions. And I'm very pleased with the fact that RevUp Jamaica, is my understanding, is the recipient of a grant from the incubating window of the Biggie program. The role that you have to play is a critically important one. What we want to do as more companies get formed in Jamaica than ever before, right? We have more companies that were formed last year than ever before. We want to ensure that there's a bias towards innovation and that they have the best chance of success. No person is an island, no one stands alone. And the role of the incubator is indispensable in helping companies realize their ambition and realize their potential, allowing them to scale up and to make decisions where scarce resources have to be allocated, and to ensure that they can manage the growth opportunities and the challenges that they face. I'm particularly pleased that my understanding is that RevUP Caribbean will be focused on fintech. As Minister of Finance and the Public Service, I've spent a lot of policy space and time supporting the development of a fintech industry through the Bank of Jamaica. We have legislation in place and regulation in place to allow for fintech opportunities to be operationalized. We're introducing central bank digital currency. The central bank has introduced the concept of a payment, authorized payment provider, which goes beyond the traditional financial institution. And that, along with other regulations and reforms, paved the way for a revolution in financial services through very innovative fintech firms. It is my hope and my desire that through RevUp Caribbean, you'll be able to identify early stage fintech opportunities, that we make sure we avoid, the effect of, these entities have the space to grow, and we avoid in a small society the potential for cannibalization, the potential for conflict, and that we can truly end up with independent fintech firms that can grow in Trinidad, that can grow into Jamaica, that can grow across the Caribbean, and really introduce to the Caribbean population new ways of delivering financial services that are beneficial to our society and economy overall. Let me, in closing, congratulate all those who are behind the RevUp Caribbean initiative, and to say that you have the full support, certainly, of the government of Jamaica as you cross another threshold of having an incubator that is Caribbean-wide. I don't know of any who have preceded you in this way, and it's good that you'll be building on the success of your first Angels network and on the experience that you've gained to leverage that across the region. Congratulations to you, and government policies certainly align with what you're doing, and I wish you every success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Clark. And let me just correct myself. I don't like to refer to people by their wrong titles, so let me correct myself. We just spoke with Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clark, Minister of Finance and the Public Service. Thank you for I said sector before. Public service, thank you for being in service to us. We are so excited that here in Jamaica, we are seeing policies align. And what is fantastic is that as we align with the IDB, we are also seeing where there is so much investment Caribbean-wide, because we do see that the ecosystem is Caribbean-wide. We are building regional businesses in each of our respective countries, and actually allowing us to do business with each other. And so we thank you for the role that you are playing, for aligning policies, for the growth of our country, and very importantly, for taking time out of your day. We understand what Tuesday is, so thank you, and bless you as you go through the rest of your day. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you. We just heard from Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clark here in Jamaica. And we have actually, Sandra, if I remember correctly, you have been having conversations with other ministers across the Caribbean, other private sector organizations as well. This is, we had the benefit and pleasure of our Minister of Finance, but these are conversations that are happening regionally, if I understand.
Daniel, yeah. Because, as Minister said, it's important to build an ecosystem. And that's exactly what RevUp is doing, trying to build a Caribbean ecosystem for startups and scale-ups.
Right.
And we need the support of governments in the region.
Right.
We need the support of financial agencies and banks and, you know, development organizations.
Absolutely.
So we've been having all of those conversations from Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados to Belize to the OECS.
Right.
And so we are really excited about opening up RevUP Caribbean to founders in the Caribbean,
Right.
the wider Caribbean.
Well, before we go any further, some, I don't know who you would be, but may not know who this fantastic woman in front of me that has been speaking is. She is Sandra Glasgow. Not only is she one of my favorite people and one of the people who has believed in me as a small business owner, but there's something that's extraordinary about her. She has been in this small to medium business space for a long time. She may not want me to say how long because she's going to say I've aged her, but she has remained committed to this. Very importantly, a big part of RevUP Caribbean. We've been in this space for about 7 months now. We've had one cohort, and one of the things I know we're both proud of is that in our first cohort, there were 60% female entrepreneurs partaking. Tell us why. I just want to start there. Why is that important for RevUP Caribbean?
That's right. We set ourselves a target of 50% of the cohort. It actually was 63%. So it's important because, you know, in Jamaica, in the region, in fact, across the world, female founders have difficulty getting investments, getting support to grow their businesses. And we understand, and in fact, as a co-founder of First Angels, we have seen firsthand that when women are given the opportunity to grow their businesses, they really take great advantage of that opportunity and sometimes surpass the achievements of the men that we finance. So it's really important to us. We have placed, again, a focus on having at least 50% of our cohort be females, female-led or owned businesses. And as the minister said earlier, we have also, for this cohort, placed a focus on having companies in the fintech space.
Right. So we're seeing a focus on fintech, we're seeing a focus on women, but we are, of course, we just want to make it clear for everyone who's listening that this is open to everybody,
Yeah.
all small businesses.
Yeah.
And by everybody, we're talking about small business owners who are passionate, who are creative. You have a long-term vision. And for me, what I think is super important is that whilst this business is about, you know, your dreams, you're also seeing bigger visions for your country. You're seeing how you can impact. For me, that's what makes a really successful founder and entrepreneur. So Sandra, we should have started. I'm going to jump back. What have participants experienced so far, and what should applicants expect coming into this program? Why bother is what some would say. It's so much work.
well, I know, Daniel, you're going to talk to some of the founders
Right.
in a little while. But you know, we did an evaluation of the program at the end of the first cohort, which, by the way, had one Trinidadian and
Nice.
the rest were Jamaican. And we deliberately started in Jamaica because we wanted to make sure that we ironed out the kinks, as it were. So, you know, our first cohort was a pilot, and we had always intended to serve the Caribbean. So in our second cohort, we're going to do just that. So the feedback, I have to say, was phenomenal. You know, what I say to people is that what impressed me most about the founders in cohort 1 was their absolute dedication to going through the program and to soaking everything in. Mm-hmm. We met twice a week for it really was supposed to be 2.5 hours, but we added an extra half an hour at the beginning just for us to check in with each other. And really, the attendance was amazing, 98% attendance throughout the 5-month program. Most people joined us half an hour before the start of each of our sessions. We had amazing mentors, and the feedback from the founders about their mentors was also amazing. So, you know, what we've tried to do, Daniel, is to create a program that's going to fill all the knowledge gaps that a founder needs.
Like what? Like what are some of those?
You know, it's quite extensive, actually. So I could spend the next 10 minutes telling you what we're going to do, but I will, because it's important. So we have two groups. We have the startup group that's looking for equity. So these are people who are looking to pitch to the angel investors at the end of the program. And then we have a group of scale-ups. Those would be people who have already started their businesses. Perhaps they're 10 years into it. But they recognize that there's some gaps in their knowledge and skills. So there's an investment readiness program which looks at, you know, what angel investing is all about, how to pitch, how to protect your intellectual property, and valuation and exit strategies. And then we get into the training program, which starts with going digital, because, you know, we really believe that this is the digital age. Everybody needs to have a business that, you know, has some online components. You know, everybody is doing digital marketing. You know, payments are online. So we really get into, you know, what does it take to make a business truly digital? And in this cohort, we're going to be supported by MasterCard. MasterCard is a sponsor of Cohort 2, and they have also challenged us to get more fintechs in the cohort. So we have a target of 25% of our cohort to be fintechs. But after going digital, we get into 30 hours of marketing. We have another 30 hours of accounting and finance. We're looking at business and tax laws. We're looking at managing people and processes. We're looking at corporate governance, which I personally deliver, and which is another of my passions. We're looking at strategy, growth, and scaling. So those are the topics that we will deal with in the training program. And at the end, we have a very exciting retreat for the founders with McKinsey & Company, facilitated by McKinsey & Company. And I'm sure later on, David and Nada will tell you about the retreat that we had at the end of the first cohort, inviting founders from the US, from Latin America, and from Jamaica to talk about some of the key areas that founders need to master if they are going to lead their companies successfully. I should say as well that there are some other components. We do the extended DISC, psychometric testing, at the beginning of the program, actually, so that founders can understand their own personalities, how they relate to in a team setting, how they solve problems. It gives a lot of insight into who they are and how they, you know, what they need to focus on to be better founders and CEOs. And then, of course, I talked about the 10 hours of local and international mentoring with the best specialists in various areas. And so we really have a very rounded program which is designed to ensure that, you know, when founders come with their great ideas, they have the skills and the knowledge to turn those great ideas, to translate their vision in and execute on their vision and create successful businesses that can attract investment and that can attract financing from financial institutions.
Right. That is fantastic, Sandra. Thank you for letting us know. So for those of you who are now very keen, saying, you know, I want to be a part of that, because, you know, let's face facts. We're great in business. We have great ideas. I have met with so many of the existing founders and so many fantastic ideas. And I know many people listening in are saying, you know, I'm doing really well in my business, but I think there's opportunity for me to expand further. I think there's opportunity to export, but you know, maybe I don't feel quite equipped. That could be you speaking to yourself. So we're talking about getting ready for investment readiness, leadership, marketing, sales, going digital. Many of us kind of got caught in COVID saying, we're kind of digital, but how do we do this well? How do we accept payments online, just as an example? And we do know that has been up to now a challenge in the Caribbean. There's so much available, and of course you can go into RevUpCaribbean.com, or you can apply right away. Also just reminding you that if you have questions, whether you are a founder or a member of the media, please feel free to ask us questions. I'm going to jump right now into our fantastic panel. We have a hybrid panel here, so forgive me if I take a minute to introduce online and offline. We are joined firstly by, let me start with this fantastic lady, Narda Ventura of Easy Payments, e-commerce payment solutions. Narda, you are part of the first cohort.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us.
Danielle.
Also on our panel is David Lee, who is, you know, an amazing entrepreneur, started a few businesses and been a part of many startups, especially in that fintech space as well. We are also joined by Vernon James of Link Jamaica. Fantastic new opportunity for Jamaicans to be, you know, paying each other, paying whether it be through personal engagement or business engagement. We welcome him. Fantastic for me is to welcome also Oliver Sabga and Christian Stone, who join us online. They are from My Term Finance, which is a web-based credits institution operating across the Caribbean. Oliver and Christian, welcome to our panel. So I just want to start here with Narda. Narda, you have just finished. I saw you at the Founders Retreat, which for all those listening is a reason in and of itself to apply. It is a fantastic, powerful weekend that participants participate in. But
yes,
walk me through just in a minute, what was great about this program? Why are you glad that you started up? And also just use that opportunity to tell us a little bit about your business.
sure. So I'll start with the first question, Danielle. You know, I have 15 plus years experience in the financial sector. And I spent a lot of time in product development and client experience and market research. And you think you know a thing or two until you're starting your own business. And you realize that there are definite gaps along the way. And you used a term earlier. We need to skill up. You know, as a founder, as a CEO, and I have to add, as a CEO of a fintech company, there's a lot to learn. I still think that I am learning. Post
Cohort.
Post-cohort.
Training program.
Post-cohort, right. And there's so much more for me to learn. Sandra spoke about some of the topics that we would have gone through. And the best part of it is you literally feel like you're being handheld along the way. After every session, there was something to take away and implement into your business immediately. Those of us who leveraged the platform and really worked the information improved our business as we went along in the 5 months. If I looked at my business today in comparison to 6 months ago, it's a completely different beast. We are ready to scale. And we're very, very grateful that we're able to pitch to the angel investors. So easypayments.com is a payment facilitator. It's an e-commerce solution, one that sits between you, your business, and the commercial banks. We've gotten rid of all the heavy lifting, the need to create heavy websites, needing highly technical expertise, and of course a budget to match. Easy Payments is a plug-and-play solution that within 24 hours you can be up and running with your own branded payment page in a very safe environment, giving you the ability to process payments across the world, accepting Visa, MasterCard, and we want to do a lot more with MasterCard from cardholders anywhere across the world. And what that has done for our creative people who are scaling their own business is they've it has opened their doors. Right? No longer are they limited to the physical space that they're in, but now they can sell not just to Jamaicans and Jamaicans in the diaspora, but anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Right. That's truly fantastic that you have created that, because of course that has been a bit of a challenge, and we're glad to see yet another player, bringing us solutions in that space. Thank you for that, Narda. So it sounds to me as if you feel equipped to go to that next level. You feel skilled up to scale up.
Absolutely feel skilled up to scale up. The best part of being a part of this network is it doesn't end.
Right.
Well, that's what I feel. I don't feel like it will end with the end of the program. The support network is there. Sandra has been there. There are many persons throughout on the teaching side of things who would have delivered material to us, who make themselves available. These are experts in the market who are always there to answer a question, follow up on a WhatsApp conversation. So there's continued growing. And if you are scaling, it's a journey. Right? There's no destination that you're, okay, I've learned it all, and it's not, because then there's something else that's coming, like competition, right? And how do we move forward with that and make it work?
Or collaboration, right?
We're all about.
Right, exactly. I really appreciate you saying that, and I love the fact that we've actually brought up collaboration, because we do have many players who may have similar services, etc., but it is about collaboration. And I remember one day a company saying to me, we don't so much, competition is important, but when one of us grows, the industry grows. And that's what's important. I want to just go over to David Lee, driver, right? The person who is driver, sorry to be so corny. And for those of you who don't know, drivers is in the fintech space. It's about safety, premium access to rideshare, car rental, delivery services. Welcome, David Lee. Thank you for being with us. What has your experience been as an entrepreneur here in Jamaica? And lead us into why you feel like this program serves entrepreneurs in Jamaica.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for having me, Daniel and Sandra. So my entrepreneurial journey has started, I guess, from in high school. I have always had some kind of venture that led me to trying to make money for myself, right? But over time, you learn from all those experiences. You do better at things. As you make mistakes, you figure out the best way to do it the next time, or do something differently. So earlier in my career, I would say, a pretty decent solo entrepreneur, where it didn't really need a lot of people for the business to work. I would be buying or selling something, and I was enough to run the business. Then I transitioned into corporate work, but it still relied heavily on my entrepreneurial skill set. So, being a business development manager, or being some kind of market maker, and again relying on those entrepreneurial skill sets. Funnily, part of my career, I was an investment manager. I was actually a private equity investor, and it was my job to evaluate investment opportunities, and I was the one getting pitched by businesses and companies that were seeking capital. And I remember what it was like seeing pitches and thinking that they were definitely not ready for an investment. They had a good idea or a good product, but they had so much lacking. But my resources at the time was not sufficient to, fill all those gaps. So fast forward several years later now, where I am back in this role of an entrepreneur, no longer interested in being a solo entrepreneur, but building a large company that relies on people and other resources and partnerships and suppliers and vendors and all the different parts that build a large organization. And when I saw the RevUP marketing campaign, I immediately was attracted to it, because even though I had such a I would say, wide experience, good experience as an entrepreneur, as a corporate manager, as a private equity investor, I knew that jumping back into the entrepreneurial life would require me to refresh myself on a lot of things that I would have studied in school or done in practical settings in my previous jobs. And I just wanted to pull everything back together. So I think I'm a prime example of someone who maybe didn't fit the original entrepreneur. You're just starting out, but you can have corporate experience, you can have commercial experience, you can have entrepreneurial experience and still benefit from this program, because it is bringing everything back together in a meaningful way. And because you're doing it most likely while you're working, you're able to put back into practice some of these things that you would have long forgotten or been out of touch with. So I for one enjoyed participating because it challenged me to think about my own business in ways that, sitting on the outside as a private equity investor, I would have maybe had one opinion about a business based on my past experience and only what I was seeing at that very moment in time. Mm-hmm. But now coming back into the driver's seat, pun intended, I get the benefit of the consultation with experts, the benefit of the camaraderie among the other entrepreneurs. In fact, myself, I made a partnership with another person who was part of the cohort, who had similar overlapping business models. And so we saw the benefit of how we could help each other. And that's really a plus to the incubator setting, because you're going to be among like-minded people, and inevitably you're going to find someone with, if it's not the same idea, it's similar, or there's some synergies that you can extract, and everybody is being open-minded, and there are people behind you willing to support the strategy and the execution of that strategy, or just generally the refinement of that business idea. Mm-hmm. So I benefited because I completed the program. I was able to pitch to the first angel investment network, and I got a much better product. Not necessarily my actual business, but me as a package, my business as a package, and the overall investment as a package was a better product at the end than when I started.
Wow, that is really, really fantastic. Thank you for that, David. One of the things that I like what David said, which leads us perfectly, thank you for the segue, is that the camaraderie, the partnerships with other companies, and even the opportunity to partner with other companies across the Caribbean region. Many of us have wanted to scale our business across the Caribbean, and this opportunity allows you to do that. And in so saying, I am pleased again to welcome Oliver Sabga and Christian Stone, who are from My Term Finance. They're joining us online from Trinidad. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for being a part of my test run earlier. And giving me confidence. Now it's over to you. Tell us, Oliver, what, or whichever one of you has decided, tell us a little bit about My Term Finance and how you serve small businesses across the Caribbean.
First of all, thank you for having us. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. Term Finance is a completely web-based lending business focused on responsible credit to employees of reputable companies, and more recently, over the last 18 months, to small and medium-sized businesses. When I say truly web-based, I mean truly web-based. Over the last few years, we would have done over 50,000 loans. I think probably over 50 million US in mixed currencies across TNT, Barbados, Jamaica, Guyana, St. Lucia, without ever meeting a customer face-to-face. All right. And about 18 months ago, we started looking at the credit landscape, and we found that a major gap in the credit market existed for SMEs, for small and medium-sized businesses. So we started looking at the space and do some research, and decided to launch a specific arm of Term Finance that's focused on small businesses, and that launched about 18 months ago. To date, we would have processed over 1,200 applications, approximately 15 million US in applications with a relatively high approval rate when compared to the SME lenders that exist in the US and in Europe. An interesting stat is that our approval rate for female entrepreneurs is 60%.
Wow.
So if you look at all of our active loans, actually 60% of the active customers are female entrepreneurs. And that's not because we have actually focused on female entrepreneurs. It's just the result of the analysis that our artificial intelligence and robotic programs have spat out, and we seem to love female entrepreneurs. So it's been an incredible journey, a really important link between what we have done over the last 18 months, what we continue to do, and what RevUP sets out to do is to stress a little bit more that entrepreneurs and startups don't just need financial capital, right? They also need the right level of mentorship and guidance, and any incubation system or fund that focuses on just putting money in the hands of entrepreneurs is bound to fail. Right. And when you spend time reviewing, RevUp's website and all of the content out there, it's very clear that you're getting a lot more from this program than just financial assistance.
Right.
All right. And I think that's absolutely where the focus needs to be in helping SMEs scale to the next level. I mean, in Trinidad, SMEs contribute to over 35% of our GDP. Mm-hmm. Right. By extension, they employ over 30% of our population. And when people talk about small businesses, too often it's considered, a cute topic, right? To chat about. But really and truly, the effects of scaling up SMEs and having a significant impact on the SME segment can be felt very strongly across all macroeconomic indicators.
Absolutely.
So it's great to see programs like this. It's great to see, heavy hitters like ministers attending these sessions and talking about how policy is going to be, amended and is being amended to drive entrepreneurial growth. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, pleasure to be here. That's a bit about term finance, and I look forward to continuing the discussion.
Thank you so much for that, Oliver. It really is fantastic to have you on board with us. Christian, if you could talk to us, maybe just some of your general thoughts and experiences with, what you're seeing happening in the fintech space, maybe there in Trinidad or the OECS. What are you hearing about why you think this RevUP Caribbean is a great opportunity?
Sure. Well, I think the fintech space is something that, the Caribbean can really leverage for growth. I hear a lot of people say in the Caribbean talk about maybe stuff like agriculture or different areas, but the truth is, given the size of our populations, given the education of the people, if you will, and maybe our geographic positioning between South America and North America, I think financial technology is something where we can take it way beyond our borders. So, we are in the digital lending space, but obviously, I think you have another panelist who obviously is in that payment space, but, how do we go even beyond that? So do we look towards the blockchain space? Do we look towards, some sort of communication space? And I think there are opportunities that don't even exist as yet. So, where are we going to get our next unicorns from in terms of those sort of companies that can make it to the markets and be billion-dollar companies? I think fintech is probably the primary one that we need to be looking at. So it's great to have these sort of programs that can push those opportunities through and see the ideas through commercialization.
Right. How do you see, even through term finance, the opportunity for collaboration with, business owners? We are going to be joined by a member of the panel from Link from here at NCB in a minute, where I'll ask the same question. But I want to know from you, collaboration across the Caribbean region. Many of us as business owners have yearned to do business across the region, even borrow money from across the region, get financing, investment, grow our businesses. How do you see, even through your own business, these opportunities opening up, maybe through fintech?
Sure. I think I'll start, Christian. I think if your business has a technology focus, it's going to become essential, right? Because each of our individual populations aren't substantial enough to create enough of a revenue generating model for tech-based businesses. But when you put all of the populations together, TNT, Barbados, Jamaica, Guyana, St. Lucia, all of the other Eastern Caribbean markets, you have a significant population that makes the investment into technology and the return on those investments a lot more attractive. I think, if you look at a business like Term Finance, or, if Nala does this with Easy Payments, you have a technology platform that may be manned by, resources in Jamaica or resources in Trinidad. But as we have demonstrated, and as I'm sure some of the other panelists would be able to demonstrate or have already demonstrated, we've been able to grow into 5 markets with 1 single employee in each of those markets. Our entire back-end infrastructure is based in Trinidad, and using technology, we're approving loans, hundreds and thousands of loans every month in every single Caribbean island that I mentioned, without having real foot soldiers on the ground. All right, and that really comes down to technology, and technology enables that, connectivity between the markets. So if you leverage technology, you get to benefit from selling your products and services to populations beyond your own shores.
Right.
And I think that ought to be the focus. And I think business incubators like RevUP, looking to create a bridge between Trinidad and Jamaica, for example, is exactly the right way to sell that story and that tagline to anyone who participates in your program.
Right. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to ask you to stay with us for a minute. There may be questions coming back to you, so if you could stay on with us. But I do want to turn my attention to Link. Vernon James. Oh, I knew his last name. I was saying it because Vernon, Link has done amazing things in the past 4 months or 6 months. You launched in December 2021. We are now at June 2022, and you have in excess of 100,000 users on the Link platform. That is why I started with Vernon. How did you do it? Tell us a little bit about what you've done, the role of mobile, digital, fintech and technology, and how it's taking over.
Thank you. So, the funny thing is, if you feel a need, you'll be surprised. If you build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. So what has been happening in Jamaica is, over the years, a lot of people have been left out of financial services, but in particular the digital financial services. Mm-hmm. So we have a large unbanked and underbanked population in Jamaica. Oh, sorry. A large unbanked and underbanked population in Jamaica. What we have is a lot of people who do their business very, very manually. They go, they line up, they pay their bills. They go, they line up, they receive their remittances. And these are people who really want to engage digitally. But for whatever reason, they don't have bank accounts. They have bank accounts that they do use for many years. They have not. Fortunately for us, I would say for Link, NCB recognized that this large portion of the population needs to be caught in the digital financial space. And they decided to launch a journey. That's what I call Link. Link is not a destination, it's a journey to engage the majority of Jamaicans and bring them formally into the digital space. So about 2 years ago, we started that journey. Link, as you see it now, has taken about 18 months to get us here. We have teams across the world, really, primarily Jamaica, South America, North America, working to bring the best digital solution to Jamaicans. And we can thank NCB for that, because NCB wanted to bring the best to all of Jamaica. So, who are we? Link is right now a digital wallet. We allow people to do peer-to-peer payments, so I can transfer to you easily. I can pay small merchants at the moment. I can pay my bills, and the bill you want to pay, as of today, you can pay your bills. And I can top up my phone. But that's just who we are today. The idea is that Link will become a full ecosystem, allowing merchants across the island at this point to be able to engage the customers, sell their products through Link. People can make their payments through Link. But Link is is what we make it. What we have done with Link is to take it to the customers, to find out what it is that they're looking for. And as I said, we build it. We believe that being customer first allows us to create an app, the app for Jamaica, that people would love to use and build their own ecosystems within the app.
Right.
So what we've done is to take the approach to say, if you the business, wherever you're the business, small merchants at this time, eventually large merchants, bring them. Invite them to join Link. It's easy. Link is completely digital. You don't have to go into any branch or anything. You just need a phone, a smartphone, your face, and a government-issued ID, and you can open your Link account. That's how easy it is. So you have 5 merchants that you do business with. You open your account first, and then you find the 5 merchants, and you bring them onto Link. And eventually, Link will become an ecosystem so large that you just struggle to figure out how you existed without Link, because you can do everything within Link.
Right.
That's the idea, and that is how we have gone about engaging the Jamaicans. We're excited. Yes, we're 120,000 customers now, but that's just the start. Just the tip of the iceberg. We expect, you know, in due course to be across the vast majority of Jamaicans and to have them engaging in the use of our app.
Right. So, you know, what we've learned here today so far, and we do have a little bit more time, we're seeing fintech support with a Link. We're seeing fintech support with easy payments. We're seeing it happening in Trinidad with term finance. This is a conversation that I don't think we could have had 10 years ago. I'm not 10. I don't even know if we could have 5 years ago had this many panelists. So I think what this goes to is what Sandra was saying before, is that we are at Go Digital in the Caribbean. And I feel very proud of that. We are definitely at Go Digital in terms of the ecosystem. We're building it out. Before, we were all digital, but we couldn't receive the money. You know, we could have business consultations online and offer our services, but getting paid was hard. And we're seeing so many opportunities. And so what we're saying is small business owners, don't get left behind on that. There is support available to you. We want to thank our panelists so far, but don't go anywhere, because I already know that there is a question. We've had so far Oliver Sabga and Christian Stone coming to us from Trinidad, from Term Finance. We've had Vernon James of Link. So please submit your questions. We're here for all of them.
Before you go to the questions, I wanted to make 2 points.
Yes.
And I think both Nada and David alluded to it. The peer-to-peer learning and collaboration. That was a powerful thing to see and watch in Cohort. There will always be opportunities to collaborate.
And collaborate locally, and now we're going to be collaborating regionally.
Regionally, absolutely. And also, the other thing I wanted to say is that RevUP, because we're birthed out of First Angels, has the benefit of a vast network of specialists. We have a partnership with the World Business Angels Investment Forum, which provides us with qualified mentors. We have IP lawyers.
Right.
We have accountants. We have actually a program called Partners and Perks.
Oh, wow.
And those partners are providing us with a range of perks.
Right.
Michaela Solutions, which has provided discounts on accounting packages. I know many of our participants say, you know, in manufacturing, we're using software.
Yes.
I won't say which one. That wasn't appropriate for their business. So we have partners that are providing the kinds of software, tools, platforms that will make life easier for our founders. And I mean, we are really laser focused on our founders.
Right, absolutely.
Because we believe in their ability, we believe in their vision, and we believe in their ability to grow the businesses.
Right.
Right? So we want to equip them as well as we can to make sure that these businesses grow. We are invested in their growth.
Absolutely.
We're invested in the growth of companies across the Caribbean. We are invested in the growth of our economies. Because, trust me, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going nowhere. I'm going to be living in the Caribbean. And so I want to make sure that Jamaica's economy grows and the economies of the countries in the region. Also.
Absolutely. I think one of the most important things is that we grow as a region, you know, and that collaboration across the region. I really appreciated when David said that. You know, Sandra spoke a little while ago to our partners, and as she said, partners and perks. We all love presents, or maybe just me, but I think a lot of us do. We are funded in many ways by the Development Bank of Jamaica, National Commercial Bank, through the IDB Lab. We also have the Caribbean Alternative Investment Association as a partner, Incomex, Michaela Solutions, InfoServe, MasterCard, Epic Transformation. There are
AI,
Star Apple AI,
data analytics.
Yeah,
I mean, we have Ingenuity Technologies.
Absolutely,
we
one-on-one.
Supreme Ventures.
Supreme Ventures.
One-on-one. I mean, we have a host of partners who are providing those, and frankly, I don't think the members of Cohort 1 took advantage enough of the perks that our partners are providing. So we're going to be pushing this for Cohort 2 and also engaging other partners. We had a powerful partnership with the RJR Gleaner Group, for example, which provided our Cohort, our founders, with features in the Gleaner newspaper. It's hard, you know, when they pay $350 for a 5-month program, and they get all of these perks.
The truth of the matter is, working in media, I can tell you that that feature in the newspaper alone,
that was more than $350.
Right, and all you guys need to do, by the way, is just go on the Instagram page and the retreat. I just want to tell you, I would sign up for the retreat.
But Daniel, if I could just support Sandra on that.
For certain, and I have lots of questions, so let's go.
You know, the investment that you make as a founder into this cohort, into this program, this incubator, really is a drop in the bucket. I mean, I remember saying to Sandra, maybe second class in, that I think I've maxed out my money. You know, and I had 4+ months left to go. What you get, what you receive, you can't pay for that.
I think there's something young people in Instagram, you know, when they leave parties, they say, you owe me nothing. Or something like that.
Well, I feel like we may owe them something.
You owe me nothing.
But what you owe us is your success.
Absolutely. I have a question for Narda and David. Let's just take it. What specific knowledge, each of you, were you able to apply in your business right away that you saw the most results? Tell me, whichever one.
Sure, I'll jump into it right away, and still building out, if I may say, but SOPs, standard operating procedures. They're very, very important. You know, they standardize how you operate, with your suppliers, with your clients, and with your internal team. Didn't think I could operate. Didn't think I needed them. Until I started writing the first one.
Absolutely.
And you realize how much attention you really need to pay to your SOPs for standardization and consistency.
And what we saw is that the founders were taken through the process of creating SOPs. It's not just a Word document with a list, which is kind of where I started. And sometimes it actually is, but...
They got a lot of templates.
And a lot of templates, not just Daniel's list on a Word document. David, biggest takeaway that you may have had, and then I'm coming to Oliver and Christian, because we have a question for them.
So for me, in particular, the valuation tools that were provided, of course, you know, having some finance background, I would have had an idea of how I wanted to value this business, but then how I wanted to value the business may not necessarily support how the investors that I was going to present to value the business. And based on that specific set of classes around the valuation and the model for the revenue forecast and the risk parameters and all of the discount factors that you would have to apply to it, and working back to today's valuation, even though it's a new company, it's revenue generating, but for the most part, not at the scale at which you would want to be asking for a large sum of money. But I think that was the most useful section of the course for me, because that valuation actually held firm when I went to pitch and actually received offers for investment.
Right. Thank you for that. There is a question I think everybody's a little bit excited about. Christian and Oliver, their interest in your business. Did you say that, I think people want to confirm, you are offering finance or credit solutions to businesses across the Caribbean region in an electronic e-commerce digital friendly way? Did people hear that correctly?
Correct. So maybe I could jump in on this one. So we actually are doing it in two ways. So one, we partner with organizations to finance their employees, so giving structured loans to their employees. We have launched the SME component of it a couple of years ago. So we've been in Trinidad. We've recently expanded to Barbados, and Guyana and Jamaica on our radar. So we're getting there as we work through the licensing.
Right.
But right now, our employee lending program is available in Jamaica, St. Lucia, Guyana, Trinidad, and Barbados. And the SME lending is in Trinidad and Barbados for the moment, with plans to move to those other markets as well.
Fantastic. We're definitely feeling a lot of supportive energy for you to get those licenses. This is the type of support that we need. Sandra, there is a question. Who gets mentorship in this program? What qualifies you? And also, what qualifies people to be in this business is a question that came, sorry.
In the program.
In the program, what businesses?
So we are looking, so as I mentioned earlier, we have two tracks. We have the startup group, which is looking for equity funding. So we call that the startup, the Seeking Equity program, right? We have a second program, which is actually a training program, which works in parallel with the startup. They do the same course. That is for scale-ups, and that's particularly sponsored by NCB for its clients.
Right.
So if you have an NCB account, you can apply for the scale-up program, and you go through the training program. Now, the only things you don't get, as opposed to the startup program, is that you don't get access to the mentors.
Okay.
Because we have to pay the mentors.
Right.
And also, and it's a cheaper program. It's $100 less, but that's specifically for NCB's clients. And this is an amazing program because NCB is paying $750 towards the cost of the program for each person.
So I just want everybody to be clear on that. This program costs $1,000.
Yes.
If you were to pay to join this program, it would have been $1,000. If you are an NCB customer, you're going to pay $250.
That's correct.
If you are a scale-up who just happens to not be an NCB customer, we're not sure why, but if you're not, you're going to spend $350.
No.
Sorry.
So the $350, so the training program is exclusively for NCB.
Sorry, right,
clients.
yes.
The startup program is $350. Right. The balance, the $650, is paid for by our sponsors, IDB in particular.
Right.
And with that, you get the full suite. You get everything. You get a local mentor, an international mentor. You do the investment readiness and the training program.
Right.
So the other parts, which is the extended the psychometric test, high-level strategic planning, the training program, and the retreat everybody gets.
Everybody
that.
gets to be a
Right.
part of it.
And just think about attending a weekend retreat facilitated by McKinsey.
McKinsey, I sat in on a few of I helped facilitate one and sat in on another one. And as I said, that retreat alone, just the knowledge, the food, the knowledge was, really fantastic. As a small business owner, I've been in this for 14 years. I know I couldn't pay for even a consultation with McKinsey.
Nothing that you could pay for.
Right, I've been around for...
The value is just phenomenal. It would be difficult for you to pay for all the interventions that you are getting under this program.
So I want to go into, I do want us to close. I know our online people are saying, what else is there? We do have a few other things, but we're not going to take too much longer. What we want to move into is, what I wanted to say to you was there's so much information available on our website, RevUpCaribbean.com. It's also the place that you apply. Feel free to reach out also at RevUp Caribbean in Instagram, in Facebook. My team in particular, I can tell you, are ready to answer questions that you may have. And also look at the founders. We featured all of them. Ask them questions, harass them in Instagram. They are willing to answer questions.
Daniel, I just want to make it clear that this program is by selection. So
we were talking, yes.
Yes, so you apply.
Yes.
But you have to be selected because we want to choose founders and companies that can take the best out of the program and apply it and grow.
And grow, right.
So you have to be selected.
Right.
You apply and you give us a lot of information and we decide whether you are going to be the person who will make the most of it.
So not everyone gets in. Our next cohort, I haven't said it once, is going to be in July. So we're encouraging small business and to medium business owners across the region. Today's the day to really apply. This week is the time to apply. I want to just move us on into our next session. As I said, you can ask questions if you want to. We'll get in Zoom or YouTube or wherever you've logged in from. We'll be sure to answer those questions. I'm going to ask my team to play a video as we get ready for our next panel, which won't be actually too long. So, team, over to you. Are you ready? Welcome to RevUp Caribbean, a virtual incubator and program for small to medium businesses across the Caribbean. Our mission is to help businesses grow through mentorship, training, access to strong business networks, and even opportunity to receive financing. Many of our participants are already seeing great results in their businesses. And here's what they have to say.
We've had strategy changes, we've had product changes.
We've been able to have access to mentors and access to speakers that we would never otherwise be able to touch. People from abroad, people locally, and their breadth of experience has been amazing.
Our mentors have been great, very accessible, very easy to talk to.
There's things that you never really thought of as a business owner, and the insight that they're giving us is definitely priceless.
So if you're a Caribbean entrepreneur who wants to grow your business, how people will be able to grow in other territories across the region. So visit us at www.revupcaribbean.com to apply today. It's okay.
Of all the numbers that matter in business, here's the one that matters most. 7.7 billion. Because that's how many people there are on this planet. So every day, we work with banks, merchants, businesses, cities, and governments to solve human needs with human ideas. We're helping retailers reimagine how people shop, developing new digital-first payment experiences, making transactions of all kinds safer and more secure, giving people and businesses more control over their financial data, modernizing commercial payments for businesses of all sizes all around the world, all in a pursuit of our vision of an economy where everyone can reach their potential. At MasterCard, we are here to help our partners help people.
We're going to go pretty quickly because we're really...
Because we believe when you start with people, you can start something priceless.
Thank you from our partners at MasterCard. You know, we mentioned before how many partners we have with us. We are supported by the Development Bank of Jamaica, the National Commercial Bank, MasterCard, Michaela Solutions. There's so many people and so many organizations that are committed to the growth of small to medium businesses in Jamaica. Our international partners, the World Business Angels Investment Forum, provided us with training and mentorship. So this, of course, is a perfect opportunity for me to introduce our next panel, members from our sponsors, our supporters. We have Terry-Ann Segree, Private Finance Operations Senior Specialist at the IDB Lab. We have Christopher Brown, Project Manager of the Big E program coming out of the Development Bank of Jamaica that is boosting innovation and growth of entrepreneurial ecosystems, Big E. Cherie Martin will join us from NCB in a short while, and Tony Spence, Manager of Business Development from MasterCard Caribbean. You know, Tony, I'm actually going to start with you because we did get a question from one of our media partners, Marlon Madden, who asked us, what's left? And I'm putting you on the spot. We've heard there's so much happening in the fintech space right now, so much that is allowing for collaboration across the region. What's left? What gaps are needed to be filled for us to truly collaborate in the business collaboration space?
Thank you, Marlon. The challenging question off the bat, and not so challenging, Daniel. I mean, the reality is the fintech space in Jamaica and the Caribbean is at the very nascent stage.
Right.
So the question is, what is there that we can do?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the very basic transaction, person to person, we go to dinner, we go to lunch, right?
Go back to Daniel in a minute, please. Sorry about that.
Keep going.
Right now we're fiddling with money and trying to split the bill, right? Why not have an app that facilitates a person-to-person transaction? Why not have an app that when I go to my hairdresser, I just scan her QR code and make my payments? Why not have an app that shows me my bank accounts at the 3 different banks that I do business with?
Right.
So there are a myriad of opportunities, and that's just really even at a individual level. I've even mentioned opportunities for business-to-business payments,
right,
which, you know, when you think about the interchange between a supplier and a purchaser, right, the exchange of invoices, reconciliation. So there are many problems that fintech opportunity can solve.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why, of course, we are inviting many of our creatives across the region to participate, because the truth is we do have the MasterCards, we do have the IDBs who are, you know, investing across the region. So the creative energy, that idea that you had of doing business in St. Lucia, of doing business in Jamaica, we are getting to the point where we are going to be able to facilitate that with a lot more ease. And Terry-Ann Segree of the IDB Lab, tell us a little bit more about, you know, your reason for being a part of RevUP Caribbean. You've been with us from, it was just, you know, a couple months ago when it was just Jamaica, but now we're in the Caribbean. Why? And why is this important?
Okay, thank you for having me. IDB Lab, as always, and IDB Group has always been a supporter of Jamaica and the Caribbean. So we are all about improving lives and improving the development outcomes for our countries. Specifically as it relates to being a partner with RevUP Caribbean,
right,
you know, IDB Lab is the partner that promotes social inclusion and innovation and digital transformation. And we realize that a lot of businesses, even though they have ideal solutions that could target some of these problems, they do need the support, the capacity building, the strengthening, the connection and network. And that's where IDB Lab comes in, to partner with those entities on the ground like RevUP Caribbean to provide that support and financing so that businesses can grow and scale.
Right. You know, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Terry Ann. We saw in our first cohort where there was 60% women. I have spoken with your country manager about this being a big deal for the IDB as well, you know, recognizing the role that women play in the development of communities. Tell us a little bit about, is that one of the reasons you're a part of RevUp? Because we have this focus towards women, and why is that? Because I'm going to say yes. Why would that be important for you?
Okay, so we realized that with the inclusion of women integrated in the workplace, we see greater productivity, we see higher level of involvement, and we see greater solutions. So in a lot of the countries, we realize that women are not included, and sometimes we need to help them because they do have additional challenges beyond what the regular business supports. So yes, gender and inclusion of women in businesses is a significantly important aspect for IDB. I will also just add also climate change is also very relevant, and that digital inclusion. So supporting these women businesses, led businesses, is of significant importance.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely see that. We have Christopher Brown from the Biggie, the DBG, once again with us from day one. A couple months ago we were launching in Jamaica. You know, Christopher, tell me again, tell the Caribbean, why do you think it's important for us to all collaborate in bringing programs like this to our small business owners, and why we're doing this across the Caribbean? Why is it important to build this ecosystem Caribbean-wide?
All right, thanks, Daniel. Well, as the Biggie program stands for, right, we're about boosting innovation growth in entrepreneurship ecosystem. So we understand that there are many players that come together for us to be able to grow entrepreneurship, right? The business incubators, RevUP Caribbean, plays a key role in providing the necessary advice, mentorship, guidance, training, support for businesses. And it also facilitates them in being able to access financing coming out, right? So I mentioned like 3 different areas which build up part of the ecosystem. And we have to do it as a collaborative approach. It's not, you can give somebody money and they don't know how to use it, or you can teach them all the things that they need about business, but they don't have the capital to get anywhere with it. So we have to bring all of those facets together.
Thank you. We are also joined by Cherie Martin of NCB. You, Cherie, I just think this is fantastic. You are saying to your NCB clients, listen, we know you've applied for loans. We know you need financing, but we're also here to help you boost, scale your business, and skill you up at the same exact time. An amazing commitment by NCB. Tell us why you came to this, why RevUp?
Right, so thank you all. Good to see everybody. So I think the case has been made for financial institutions to carve out resources to invest in SMEs. And I mean, we've heard about it. I think RevUp in particular has a unique advantage insofar as the depth and range of what the program provides. And because of the components of the program being not identical to what we've seen before in a lot of ways, we found the extra value worthy of investing in for our clients. And so I think that is a big plus for us. Literally, I was in a discussion a while ago talking about how our processes and our policies as an institution can be upgraded and can be amended to address the needs of SMEs.
Absolutely.
Because we have a role to play, not just saying to them, you sort out yourself, you figure out what you need to do, but also primarily around how are we also reflecting in our policies and processes and understanding of your business in such a way that we can come to the table to help you meaningfully.
Right.
So I think it's a two-way situation, not certainly all on the backs of SMEs.
Right.
And investing in them actually is part of the solution, not the entire solution.
I want to reiterate that for those watching, that these are partnerships that we are forming across the Caribbean region. We continue to build out our partnerships, which is a really amazing thing. And MasterCard, of course, in my Instagram every day, it's MasterCard Caribbean showing up. Tony, if just, in 30 seconds or so, just tell us why what's going on with MasterCard right now? I feel like you're in my world across the Caribbean right now. Tell us what's happening.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that. That's the goal, right? I mean, MasterCard has been in business in our region for decades, but MasterCard took a strategic decision to invest locally and to put resources in high potential markets such as Jamaica. So we opened an office, we invested in a team here, and so we are trying to stimulate just more than the traditional card payment, because we go beyond cards, right? I work solely with fintechs, so I'm looking for fintechs to build relationships with us, plug them into the payment ecosystem, give them cyber intelligence solutions to manage fraud, look at artificial intelligence solutions and think about open banking, blockchain, cryptocurrency. There's just a world of opportunities, and MasterCard believes that the Caribbean has a potential to do as well as the rest of the world. So we're very proud to be here.
And bringing that, of course, as you can see, we are elevating that discussion, because I've been in this space for a while, and Tony said about 5 terms a while ago that I now actually have to go and Google. So definitely elevating that conversation quite a bit. So, Terry-Ann, tell us, your closing words on maybe why this is important and what you want people to know.
So we have seen a shift in businesses in the Caribbean. The recollection that technology is important. We also noticed that climate change is an issue and we need more adaptation and mitigation solutions. We also realize that more development partners are also looking at these businesses that are offering solutions to, like, the poor and vulnerable, social inclusion, economic improvement of people's lives. And this is one of the reasons why I think all businesses out there should take advantage of the opportunities that exist.
Yes.
There are programs like the Biggie program that provides grant funding. You have the IDB in the space. You have MasterCard, NCB. So many of the partners are coming together to build this ecosystem of support.
Right.
I think if there is any time that we as entrepreneurs should take advantage of what is going on, it's now. All the stars are aligning for the opportunities that exist for businesses to take advantage.
A significant part of our funding and the opportunity for this to happen is coming from the IDB Lab, and we remain truly grateful, and that we extend that gratitude to the DPJ. None of this would be possible. As sitting as a board member, I can tell you, nothing of this is possible without our sponsors and our partners. So, close us off, Christopher, with what you want to leave with entrepreneurs across the region, and maybe encourage them, and why.
All right. So what I would say is, I think for too long, we have businesses that have been stuck at the small level, and we really want to give as many opportunities, many resources for them to scale up. So as Terry mentioned, this is an opportunity for people to get that type of guidance so that they can grow. Just consider yourself, you're an entrepreneur, you want to eventually be a large corporation. There are these different opportunities along the way: mentorship, coaching, grant funding, angel investing, loans, partnership with MasterCard, to become a much larger business in the future. And that's what I want to leave everybody with. Strive to take advantage of those opportunities so that we can no longer be a bunch of small businesses in the Caribbean, but larger businesses for the world.
Thank you to our sponsors and our partners. It has been an amazing journey so far in the past 7 months, and we are looking forward to many more years, carrying the mission of RevUP across the Caribbean, taking companies from startup to scale up by skilling up. I don't know how anybody else on the board feels about this, because I literally came up with that while speaking. I kind of like it. I hope to God I'm not fired after this. A special thank you to our media partners across the region who joined us today. Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clark, Minister of Finance and the Public Service. I also thank him for joining us, literally coming out of Parliament. We remain grateful. Thank you for all who have joined. And most importantly, small business owner to small business owner, this is an invaluable opportunity. This is an opportunity that is going to take your business. Why everyone is here is about creating sustainable businesses for for sustainable economies, for a sustainable region. We are so thankful that you have joined us today. We wish you a fantastic evening and just an opportunity to say thank you. There are a lot of people standing behind me or in front of me right now. A special thank you to Commercial Concepts for making this production actually work. Great House Caterers for actually filling my belly right after this. The beautiful set provided by Melanie Miller, Jose Walson providing us with media support, Creative House Photography, all the pictures you're seeing right now on Instagram, Exquisite Faces, and especially to my team at DRT Communications for pulling all of this together. Thank you for joining us. Please send us questions in Instagram, in Facebook, and at info@revupcaribbean.com. Apply today. Be in the wave of new businesses that are going to change the Caribbean and change the world. Thanks for joining us.